14 years ago, I picked up a pair of dumbbells and I started doing bicep curls. I curled until my arms were burning and full of blood. I then put the dumbbells down and walked over to our hallway mirror and did a double front bicep flex. I was hooked. Trying to put on muscle at 10 years old is completely different than trying to put on muscle at 24. At 10 years old, my idea of muscle and what it can do for you were completely distorted and far from reality. My frame of reference came from superheroes and action films where muscle could practically make you invincible, do extraordinary stuff, and make you the sexiest guy on the beach. I kept telling myself that if I start now, then by the time that I'm 18, I'm gonna look like Arnold, or maybe even the Incredible Hulk. Early on, I was ahead of every guy my age in terms of size and strength, and even guys older than me. And I was sure that I was on a path to greatness. But here I am now at 24 years old, and I look nothing like Arnold or the Incredible Hulk. And recently I've been feeling kind of bad, kind of down about my gains, that I should be a lot more than what I am today after 14 years of sticking to something. And to make matters worse, I've been seeing all these other fitness influencers pop up on TikTok and YouTube that had just started 2 years ago, and they have made more gains in 2 years than I have made in 14. Which just further reinforced this feeling that I've had for a long time, which is that I will never be enough. You see, YouTube is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel of my own. I mean, after all, YouTube is where I owe a lot of my knowledge and gains to. As being a 10-year-old, I didn't have access to a gym. So for the first 6 years of my life, I was in my room watching videos from Mike Chang on six-pack shortcuts or Jeff Cavaliere from Athlete X, just learning home workouts. So I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel of my own, but I told myself I wasn't enough. That I didn't have enough experience or knowledge to teach other people. That I wasn't big enough to motivate or influence other people. And that I needed better abs or better arms, and then people would listen to me. But now when I look back at photos of myself at 14 and 15 years old, when I look at these photos, I realize I could have started a YouTube channel almost 10 years ago. And by now, I would have almost 10 years of experience on YouTube. And it has made me realize that I am enough, and I always have been. There was always something that I used as an excuse. I was waiting to basically be perfect. Because I thought if I wasn't perfect, or at least close to it, nobody's going to listen to me or trust my advice, invest their time into hearing what I have to say. But I've come to realize that failure does not result from not being enough. Failure results from the fear of not being enough. Because the truth is that each and every one of you are and have always been enough. And I think this is an important realization, because this feeling of not being enough can be in a lot of areas of our life. It can be in money, it can be in relationships, it can be in your career, and it's very relative. You can make what somebody makes in a year, in 1 month, and you could still feel that it's not enough. And you can look below you. You can look at people who are worse off than you to make yourself feel better. And you could do the same. You can look up at people who are above you and doing way better to make yourself feel worse. But this is a bad way to go about this, because if you look at life through this lens, then your perception of yourself and your self-worth is going to be constantly shifting. And the truth is that no matter how much you gain, if you're looking at life through this lens, it's never going to feel like enough. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we should only compare ourselves to who we were yesterday, who we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I do believe that this is a normal feeling that most people have, and it can be harnessed in the right way. There's a difference, I believe, in lowering your self-worth and feeling like you're not enough and not being satisfied. You know, the reason I get up every day to work out now is not because I feel like I'm not enough, but it is because I'm not satisfied with the results. But I am content. I am happy with the progress I've made. I am happy with all that, but I loved making this progress and making gains, and I just love the process. And I think that's a big thing we have to realize, that there really is no end goal to anything, because the truth is you will never be perfect. You can work at something your whole life and you can become great at it, but you will never be perfect at it. And it's better to love the process of whatever it is you're doing in any aspect of your life than to look forward to some end goal that you will truly never reach. So with that, go out there and get better every day.